So afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. We're just going to wait for a couple of seconds, just for a few more people to drop in. So if it is your lunch, obviously you can see your cameras are off. So if you want to have a bite of your sandwich and a sip of your coffee, feel free. But yeah, we'll just give it a couple of minutes just for everybody to jump on, because I'm sure everyone's very busy and probably back to back. So I think as we're waiting for the kind of last few to jump on, just wanted to run through some housekeeping really with everybody on the call. So just to obviously highlight that the call is being recorded. So obviously we've also turned the cameras off and your microphone off as well. Reason for that really is just to kind of let the flow of the webinar go. But what we do want you to do obviously is be as interactive as you can. So if you do get a question at any point throughout the webinar, just as you think it, just please could you put it into the chat function, and then what we'll do at the end, we will have a Q&A section, so we'll cover off those questions at the end. So yeah, as soon as you think of something that you feel is a relevant question, just drop it into the chat, and like I say, we'll review them at the end. Just to get your kind of fingers working, I guess what would be really useful is if you could just pop your name and your organisation that you work for just in the chat, or if not, just put your name or whatever you want to put, just to see if A, you're all awake, and B, you can all use the chat function, no problem. So feel free to do that now. Yeah, hi Kath. Hi Carol. Oh, there we go. Look, loads of people messaging now. That's great. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Alison. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Jack. I don't think I've missed anyone. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that. So, like I say, we will be keeping an eye on the chat as we go through the call. So, yeah, as I said, as soon as you think of anything, then just give us a shout. So I think what we'll do is we'll get started. So thank you for your time. Obviously, you'd have received an email highlighting what the webinar is about today. So we thank you for taking your precious time and listening to us this afternoon. We're going to talk about our Green Improvement Practitioner program that we've developed here at the Growth Company. And we'll talk about a little bit of the reasons why we developed it and how we think hopefully that we can help your organisations. Couple of people that are going to be on the call today. So the wonderful John Berry, who you can see there, is also driving the slides as well today. And obviously you've got myself. So John, do you just want to introduce yourself?
Afternoon, everyone. My name's John Berry. I'm a tutor at the Growth Company. Specialising in improvement qualifications. I've worked in education for about 20 years. Prior to that, I came out of industry after leading like Lean, Six Sigma and change management programs. So I've got the industry background and the teaching background.
Thanks, John. And for those of you that are either thinking about, your team or individual, or even maybe yourself, that will be going on to this program, John will be delivering the knowledge to you. And I think, going back to what John's saying there, he can help draw on his relevant experience within the field, shall we say, to bring things to life, live examples, contextualizing it, all that good stuff. So we don't operate on a kind of train the trainer model here. We obviously use industry experts, and obviously the value add with John as well is that he's got that educational background as well. So thanks, John. My name's Gavin, so I'm the National Sales Manager here at the Growth Company. I've been here for around 6 months. Prior to that, I've worked in the sector for probably about 6 years now. And outside of that, probably like a lot of people that have fallen into this sector, I guess my background was retail. I worked my way up to retail director at Tesco, which I was proud of. But looking for a new change, always had a passion for meeting new people and development. So this kind of role sort of ticked all them boxes. So, but yeah, enjoyed my first 6 months here at the Growth Company, and looking forward to many more. So to give you a little bit of an insight around the Growth Company, now I appreciate there'll be some people on this call that will know who we are, and there'll also be some that don't. But some of the key highlights that I've sort of put on this slide, if you like, are the first thing is that we are an award-winning accredited non-for-profit social enterprise. Now, for the industry that I work in terms of the apprenticeship world, if you like, or education, that's quite rare. So usually a lot of training providers in the space are owned by a private equity company. And what that does is, in my experience, because I've been at other organisations, it can sometimes lead to more around delivering a number as opposed to actually delivering a quality of service, not just to the customer, but equally to the learner, who's, you know, the most important person. So what I find here is, because we haven't got that, and as I say, we are a non-for-profit, that gives us the ability to really put the kind of learner at the heart of everything we do. And I know lots of people say that, and I know you've probably all sat on a sales call with somebody who said exactly the same thing. But genuinely, hand on heart, the 6 years I've worked in this industry, I genuinely see and feel that now. One of the things that we're really proud of here as well is, and kind of our mission really is, not just to help businesses grow, and we've got lots of arms of our organisation, some of which you can see the logos at the bottom of the screen that help do that, but it's also about creating jobs and improving lives. So we've got different parts of our organisation that do that. So we work with the skills division. So what that's about is getting people who haven't come from necessarily a strong academic background, giving them skills to go into work and hopefully help them carve out a career. We work with the prison system, for example. So it's about, you know, re-educating offenders, giving them skills available to get them back out into work once they do come out of prison. So, you know, a few things that we kind of do there outside of just being, I guess, a traditional training provider. But a part that I work in, and a part that John works in, is we do work in the education and skills area. So as a training provider part of the Growth Company, we've been going for around 35 years. And obviously we've been doing the apprenticeship since it sort of came around with the levy in sort of 2017. And we do offer a huge range of apprenticeships. So because of our size, that allows us to be able to deliver across many different sectors. So anything really from healthcare all the way through to manufacturing, including teaching, you know, pretty much you name it, there's a sector that we play in. Now, what that gives us is the ability with a real breadth of clients. So we do work with some household names that you will absolutely have heard of, but equally, we also support our small to SME size customers in terms of their development with their L&D strategy. So we work with people that you've heard of and people that you absolutely wouldn't have heard of. But if we help them grow, then you might hear of them soon. Some of you, again, may or may not be aware of how the apprenticeship world works, but ultimately, the apprenticeship world has got sort of two arms to it. So you can bring people into your business at entry level using the apprenticeship levy, or and probably more that I speak to with customers is it's about that upskilling existing workforce. So you know, you may have people that are in your organisation that technically are really, really good at their job, but maybe need an extra skill to make them even better. So that's a lot of what around the apprenticeship levy is used for these days, is upskilling existing workforce, as well as that traditional route that we're probably all used to. And at the end of the day, I think that the last point would be, you know, you may be on a call for you may be on a call for somebody that you've got in mind, you might be on a call for the fact that you're responsible for a team of people, and hopefully, you know, you'll get something out of today, whichever way that sits. But I think for me, you know, ultimately this is about, you know, asking questions, like I said earlier on. So, you know, get using that chat function when you do have a question. And like I say, hopefully you get the most out of today's session. So to get you kind of warmed up, it'd be really interesting to kind of just see your views. So the question on the screen is, what are the economic challenges of transitioning to net zero? So if you could just pop your view on that, or I guess an answer, whatever you want to call it, just in the chat, just to see kind of what the temperature of the room is based around that topic.
Thanks, Gav.
Just need to go back, John.
Sorry.
Haven't got any answers on that. Haven't got any answers on that yet. So anybody got any thoughts on that question? Okay, well, you're awkward silence. Oh, here we go. Brilliant. Thanks, Carol. Carol's typing. Cost. Thank you. Thanks, Catherine. Lack of budget for investment. John, priorities. Yeah. Technological barriers. Thanks, Carol, again. Do these all sound like things you've heard of, John? A lack of infrastructure, yeah. John, all sound relevant to you?
Very relevant, yeah. Very relevant for this.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. All right. Well, listen, John, I'll hand over to you. And thanks, John, again, understanding. Yeah, that's great. I'll hand over to you, and hopefully we can answer or cover some of those barriers and how we can help support.
Thanks, Gav. So I thought it'd be wise to start off and just give you a background to Improvement Practitioner. So as you can see from the slide, groups of employers were challenged really with writing standards for qualifications. Historically, we had a mixture of different types of qualifications around continuous improvement, and this led to this group of employers, again with others, coming together and forming this employer forum. From this forum, standards were written, and one of the key challenges for organisations was coming up with standards that were fit for purpose, meaning that the standards would be able to be deployed across a number of industries. So from your like traditional manufacturing into healthcare, into legal, banking and hospitality and tourism and supply and logistics. Once these standards were created, they were then approved by Ofqual for delivery and formed into national occupational standards. And these form the foundation that the Green Improvement Practitioner is formed on. So Green Improvement Practitioner follows this methodology. It takes into account lean. So lean has a focus on eliminating process waste, and these are like prescribed wastes. You might have come across the acronym TIN-WOODS in your world. TIN-WOODS is focused on reducing transport, inventory and motion, waiting time, overproduction, overprocessing, defects and utilising skills. So we've got the lean side of it. This then links into Six Sigma. Six Sigma has a focus on eliminating process defects and process variation to increase capability. Increased capability generally leads to reduction in costs, an increase in profitability, and then linking that further into net zero. Net zero, looking at reducing greenhouse gases and becoming carbon neutral, giving us this, what we're now calling Green Lean Six Sigma. And the improvement practitioner is created and formed on this foundation. So it takes all these three, Lean, Six Sigma and Net Zero, to form this Green Improvement Practitioner. So Green Improvement Practitioners, these are the type of things that they'll be involved in. They'll calculate your carbon footprint. Now here at the Growth Company, we've developed our own carbon footprint capturing tool. This is simple to use. It calculates your carbon emissions and gives you a good starting and grounding point for your continuous improvement journey. Practitioners will also lead continuous improvement projects and project teams and apply the methodology of Lean and Six Sigma. They'll coach other team members and share best practice and propose solutions and implement changes that have got sustainable controls. So you might then ask, how do they do that? Well, while on the apprenticeship, they'll develop knowledge and apply skills. The knowledge is first gained and then the skills are put into practice. So as like most apprenticeships, it isn't a course that you just go on and learn about something. You have to practically apply this within the workplace while you're on programme. And as you'll see, there's a number of topics included in the knowledge side of Green Improvement Practitioner. Some key additions that we've made from traditional improvement practitioner are climate change, measuring your carbon footprint, looking how sustainable your supply chain is, and then gathering that data and analysing it to then identify and prioritise those projects going forward. They'll then apply, like I say, apply in the workplace and then develop behaviours that lead apprenticeships to drive for results. So always driving forward, focusing on results, working in teams while adopting a professional manner, and continually develop, having that focus on safe working throughout and ensuring that processes and procedures and any changes that we bring in are compliant. From a delivery point of view and programme overall, the Green Improvement Practitioner is 14 months in duration, and it attracts a levy funding pot of £6,000. So for levy payers, you can pay directly from your levy. If you're a non-levy paying organisation, you'd make a 5% contribution, which represents about £300 from that £6,000. So great value for money for levy payers and non-levy payers. The training side of it is delivered entirely online, and that is generally 3 hours per week every fortnight. We also provide individualised one-to-one support and pride ourselves on always responding to clients, apprentices and customers within a 24-hour period. We found that working online has got lots of benefits, some for us and some for you guys as well. It means you can regularly schedule your training in with yourselves or with your apprentices. We schedule the one-to-ones in advance, and all the training for the 14 months is scheduled prior and agreed. The overall qualification is then independently endpoint assessed. So we use Occupational Awards Limited, who are independent endpoint assessment organisation, and are then further accredited by IFA, who are the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education. So to summarise, while on programme, Green Improvement Practitioner apprenticeships carry out workplace projects focusing on reducing waste, could be transport costs or energy, contributing to that overall reduction in carbon footprint. Throughout the project, they'll utilise the skills and knowledge and behaviours learned and apply the DMAIC methodology, DMAIC being define, measure, analyse, improve and control. So what does that look like across a timeline? Well, across the 14 months, you can see that month 1 to 4, they'll define the project. 5 to 7, measure the current state, including things like carbon footprint, data collection. 8 to 11, analyse and improve. So looking at that green logistics and root cause analysis and action planning, doing some experimentation, trials and pilot testing. And then months 12 to 14, looking at that potential risk to the business, creating controls, and then doing a project review. And that would be like the end stage to endpoint assessment. When you come to an end of program of learning these days, we call that gateway. So gateway is like a preparation area before you go in to do your endpoint assessment. That endpoint assessment is carried out independently and involves an exam, a project presentation, a project report, and a professional discussion, which is focused around your learning. So to put that into some context, I thought, well, what does that look like as a project? So if we said we were looking at potentially reducing energy consumption, that would be our goal in our defined stage. We then measure a data, so collect that historical data, analyze that data, and potentially look at root causes and suggest potential improvement projects. Projects could be based around lots of things if you were looking at energy, depending on your own businesses and situations. We then put our improvements in, which should be measurable, and then lead that into following some testing, put our controls in place so we can then show sustainable improvement going forward. DMAIC is an improvement cycle, so it doesn't end at control, it goes back to define and round again, similar to other improvement methodologies. Okay, thanks guys, over to you, Gav.
Thanks, John, appreciate that. So, so in terms of when our next program is, so we've got an enrolment which is running throughout March. So if you have got any interest or you think you may have somebody that might be suitable for this program, I've got a slide in a couple of seconds which we'll run through to let you know what to do and sort of signpost you where to go. So we've got an enrolment, like I say, throughout March of this year. Delivery will start on the 28th of March. So that will be the first workshop, the first 3-hour workshop that John described earlier. And as said, they are every 2 weeks on Teams. And just to go back to that point, the benefits of that for you is that A, you've got no travel costs. So it'll just literally be dial into a call. You know what time to dial in, you know what date to dial in advance. So literally jump on for 3 hours. Now these calls are interactive. So, you know, it won't just be learners sat there listening. There'll be, you know, doing stuff and practicing on those calls. So, you know, don't think of the fact that it's just you know, they just dial in. It is a turn up, camera on, ready to work session. The benefit outside of the non-travel bit is that because they're regular and they're short, what that means is that the learners can get in, learn the information in a bite-sized format and actually then get out and practice it. So that will obviously benefit you as an employer because you'll just have somebody who's operating at that higher level more regularly. And because of the regularity of those workshops, what we find is that the engagement increases. And not only does the engagement increase, but actually the output of the work is better because they're more engaged. So, you know, regular bite-sized learning is definitely the future. And obviously that's the model that we operate with this program. So, yeah, just to add on to the kind of benefits that John was describing now. Now, obviously what we've done today is we've just given you a brief overview of the program to highlight the benefits of it and how it may sort of, you know, benefit and support your organisation. If anybody does want any more information or anything like that, again, I'll signpost you to the final slide in a minute with the contact details on there. But myself and John are more than happy to jump onto a call with you to do it almost like one-to-one, if you like. If you want to dig deeper or there's some stuff that you're not sure about after today. So again, you know, when we give you the contact details, just reach out to us and we'll get that arranged. So just on that, I guess, are there any questions anybody's got based on what we've kind of gone through today? I can see there's one already in the chat, which I'll answer in a sec. But if you have got any questions, please pop them into the chat now, and we'll answer them now. The question from Catherine is, will this be available to UK only? Now, the long-winded answer is it's available to England if you are looking to utilise the apprenticeship levy. Devolved nations, it's slightly different in terms of the funding rules, but that's something we can address. If you want this programme as a look and feel, if you like, of an apprenticeship with all the support that goes alongside it, we can do that, but obviously that would be a commercial offer. But again, there's bits that we can pull out, we can shape it and work it with you if that's something that you wanted to do. So, Catherine, I hope that kind of answers the question a little bit. I know you've got my details because we've been emailing, so obviously reach out to me if you've got any other questions. But fundamentally, the apprenticeship levy is, if you're going to utilise that, is for England only and not devolved nations. Okay, yeah, thanks, John.
Thanks,
yeah,
John.
We will be sharing the slides as well to everyone, so at least you've got some notes there and some context. Any other questions at all? Okay, no problem. So, so if you do get any questions, and I know it's one of them where you kind of think, oh, I wish I'd asked that. Contact details that we've got, it's on the next slide, John. If you've got any more interest or if you've got any questions or anything like that, please just reach out to this inbox. Just obviously point out that you've gone onto the webinar and you've got some additional questions that you want to ask, or like I said earlier on, if you do want to follow it up in terms of you've got a learner that you think might be ready to go, or you've got yourself that might be ready to go for that March induction, then again reach out to there. Or if you want to know any more in terms of, you know, maybe dropping on another call and having a bit more of an in-depth conversation, again reach out to that inbox. But I think from my perspective, I'd just like to say thanks to John for presenting today, and I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that's joined. I know, you know, your times are very valuable at the moment, so I appreciate that. Hopefully you've got something out of the call, and like I say, we'll follow up with sharing the slides and everything later. But apart from that, enjoy the rest of your week, and if it is your lunch, you've got a few minutes back to hopefully go for a walk outside as well. It looks quite nice today. So thanks everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone.
Take care.